Good morning and a warm welcome to all of you to the 32nd edition of our AI Agile Synergy. It's a very special weekend today as we celebrate the International Women's Day. And this year's Women's Day theme, as you all would know, is Give to Gain, right? And what a beautiful theme, because when we give, we gain. And every time we gain with enriched teams, we gain with new innovative ideas and greater collaboration. So, our panel discussion today is also aligned with this theme and how women today are breaking the barriers and building futures. And I'm very excited to introduce the sorry, to introduce the esteemed panelists and speakers for today, each of who are giving back to the world in their own special way. So introducing our first panelist for today, Professor Poulomi Dotto. Welcome, Poulomi.
Good morning, everyone, and hello.
We are delighted to welcome Poulomi to our panel discussion today. She is a senior assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Technomain Salt Lake, Kolkata. With more than 2 decades of experience in academia, she has made significant contributions to teaching, research, and academic leadership. She has also served as the head of the department from 2016 to 2023 and played a key role in securing NBA accreditation for the department. Her research interests include social network analysis, and she is also passionate about public speaking and academic content development. Welcome, Poulomi. Our next panelist for today's discussion is 𝗕𝗿𝗶𝗴𝗏 Sengupta. Welcome, 𝗕𝗿𝗶.
A very good morning and hi everyone. Happy
𝗕𝗿𝗶
Women's Day.
𝗕𝗿𝗶 has been an integral part of ABP since 2003, a graduate of Presidency College and a postgraduate from Calcutta University. She is not only a seasoned media professional, but also an accomplished author and a translator. She has written several books and translated notable literary works, including My Name is Gauhar Jaan and Stories by Jhumpa Lahiri. With music as her lifeline, she also regularly writes insightful columns on music and culture. Thanks, 𝗕𝗿𝗶, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Joining us as our next panelist is 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗏 Nandi. Welcome, 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗏.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Women's Day.
𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗏 is a Safe 6 Advanced SPC certified agile coach and transformation expert at Xerox with more than 23 years of industry experience. She has led large-scale agile and safe transformations for global organizations, including Microsoft, Deutsche Bank, Walmart, Aramco, and Toshiba. 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗏 has delivered 500 plus hours of agile and leadership training and is known for building high-performing global teams across the US, UK, MEA, and Asia. Her work focuses on enterprise agility, program management, and delivering measurable business impact. Welcome, 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗏, for today's panel discussion.
Thank you.
We are also delighted to have Mona Lisa Shorka today with us. Welcome, Mona Lisa.
Thank you, and happy Women's Day to everyone.
Mona Lisa is a senior consultant at TCS with more than 22 years of experience at the intersection of business and technology transformation. She works closely with CXO leaders to help organizations embed sustainability and ESG practices into their business strategies. Mona Lisa has also been actively exploring generative AI adoption, recently advising a global automotive organization on their Gen AI roadmap. A workplace coach and a yoga practitioner, she believes strongly in purpose-driven leadership and holistic growth. Thank you, Mona Lisa, for joining us.
Thank you.
Finally, moderating today's discussion is Meetu Roy. Welcome, Meetu.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone.
Meetu is an associate director at PwC India and a testing pre-sales and delivery leader with over 2 decades of experience across consulting and the services industry. She works extensively with BFSI organizations, enabling large-scale digital transformation programs with a focus on AI-led quality engineering and resilient enterprise platforms. With global delivery experience across the UK, US, Singapore, South Africa, and Sri Lanka, 𝗕𝗵𝗄 brings a strong perspective on technology transformation, quality engineering, and business impact. Thanks, 𝗕𝗵𝗄, for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, so what a power-packed panel we have today, right? And before we kick start, I would also like to set some ground rules. Requesting, first of all, at least the audience to be on mute during the discussion. And we will try to wrap up the discussion by 10:45 to take up the audience questions. You can also parallelly key in your questions in the chat or hold on till the end for the Q&A round. And further, may I also ask all of you to key in the name of that very special woman or role or a relation that has inspired you greatly in your, in your career or in your journey, right? So this is just as a sign of gratitude and to take a moment to thank those special women who have really made a difference in your lives. Right. So this is just to make it a bit interactive and to, thank you all those special women in our lives. So with this, I hand over the mic to 𝗕𝗵𝗄. Over to you, 𝗕𝗵𝗄.
Thank you, 𝗕𝗵𝗲. Okay, welcome everyone once again, and a very happy Women's Day to all of you out there. I hope today is a very special day for you all to understand and realize your potential and to plan your future as well. So we will start with the rounds. If you can switch on your cameras, please, the dear panelists, then we will start the round one for you. Thank you. So our first panelist, 𝗕𝗿. So we'll start with you. And so, dear 𝗕𝗿, the first question that is for you is that you have spent more than 2 decades with ABP Group, while also building a strong identity as an author, translator, and columnist. But looking back, what inspired you to enter journalism? And how was your journey evolved from reporting and storytelling to shaping cultural conversations through books and writing? If you can elaborate on that, please.
A very good evening and warm welcome everyone, and happy Women's Day to all of you. You all are very successful and very independent-minded and creative, with a great creative mind, I think. And so I convey my regards to all of you first, and then I'm coming to the question. First, a little background checking of mine. That's it. I belong to a family which was very socio-politically connected, and my grandfather was my greatest inspiration. And he always used to tell me that you have to be very independent, very sharp, very confident in your work, in your job, and whatever you do in your life. So I thank my schooling for this. I am a student of 𝗕𝗿𝗱𝗶𝗃 Mission Sister 𝗕𝗵𝗍𝗃 Girls School, and you all know the personality of Sister 𝗕𝗵𝗍𝗃, who always inspired, whose ideology, whose work always inspired us to grow up like a very independent-minded woman. And with the due course of time, I found journalism is a very varied profession which can provide me the field of my creativity, and always what I want to do in my life, doing something for the society, doing something for very independently. So this profession, I immediately attracted to this profession, and over the years I got the chance to get connected with the society. Today is the Women's Day, so I'm just focusing on the women's on. So I I explored myself in the arena of women, what urban women do and what rural women do, what is the difference between the mindset and what they are struggling for to gain something, to achieve something. So I got to know all of this. I edited women magazine for long, so I know their need, their demand, and their their dream, what they want to do in their life, and how they want to come into the spotlight. So I know the struggle, and I'm very blessed that I got this profession. I got the chance to know them very well. So that's it.
Okay. So it was really nice to hear you. So journalism is such an exciting journey, I'm sure. I mean, the geopolitical tensions that is going around us, it also makes us believe that, I mean, the job that
In
you have is not
writing, it
easy.
always comes. My experience, my interaction with them, it always
Yeah.
comes in writing also.
Yeah. Okay. So our next panelist, Professor Dotto.
Yes, ma'am.
So your journey from physics to computer science and then into academia spans over 2 decades. So what inspired you to transition into teaching and research, and what has been the most fulfilling aspect of shaping the next generation of technology professionals like us?
Thank you, madam, for the question. Good morning, everyone. A very happy Women's Day to every co-panelist of mine and every woman who's made an impact in my life, starting from my mother to my friends and cousins and teachers, and every student and my co-worker at my workplace. To answer that question, thank you for the question, first of all. My journey from physics to computer science and academia was initially not a very conscious decision. I got placed in the industry, but then I came back to academics because what physics taught me in the classroom was how to be able to solve problems, think critically, and apply them. And computer science, what fascinated me most about computer science was how these skills can be put into practice and the day-to-day technological challenges, what solutions can you provide to them. So this fascination drove me into pursuing computer science as a graduation and a post-graduation course, and beyond that into academics. And now that I started my career way back in teaching, was as an educator, as a very young educator in 2005. Little did I know that I would be standing here today. But then it's all thanks to the Almighty, a very, very supportive family, and my partner. And I feel that it's academia where you can, by sharing and collaborating, the knowledge can become more powerful. It can actually become a tool, whether it's the classroom, whether it's the laboratory or the research lab. You can actually collaborate, you can connect. And when I started, as I said, the young minds who are right now pursuing maybe research or a technology professional, it's absolutely enthralling and very, very fulfilling to see them flourish. So as I said, and to go with the theme of this today's panel discussion, like that's breaking barriers and building futures. And as introduced by madam, it's like give to gain. So what you give, you gain back. So it's been a whole of a journey spanning 2 decades, not just into teaching and learning, but also being able to be able to contribute as a holistic evolve, how to holistically evolve and inspiring students across generations. So like when they come back now and tell us how they enjoyed my classes and how I've contributed to them today, it's very, very rewarding as an experience. So yes, it's been very, very fulfilling. And little, as I said, little did I know that I would be here today, and I have enjoyed every bit of my journey across. And I thank my recruiter and my employer, Technomain Salt Lake, and the senior management of the Techno India group for having given me every opportunity and every ownership to decide and do whatever was required. And to all my seniors who've been very, very supportive, and otherwise I wouldn't have been here today. So that's a
Yeah.
very fulfilling part of this career that I have pursued. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So one of the saying that goes is that a nation can be successful based on 2 pillars. One of them is education, the other is healthcare. The nation with the best education and healthcare, nobody can defeat them. So you are in the same profession, absolutely. And it's not easy. I mean, we sometimes say that being a teacher is something like an easy job, but handling students after students, batch after batch, making sure that they pass out with flying colors, it's such a huge responsibility. And I think your job is the best example of give to gain, right? Thank you so much.
Yes,
uh
absolutely. Again. Thank you.
yeah, so our next panelist is Shatarupa.
Yes.
Yeah, Shatarupa. So you have around 23 years in the industry and a very deep expertise in safe and agile transformations and across global organizations like Microsoft, Deutsche Bank, Walmart, Aramco. And your journey has been quite remarkable. But what were some pivotal moments that shaped your transition from a traditional project delivery into becoming this large scale agile transformation leader as you are today?
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for having me here. And I feel so honored to share the stage with all these eminent panelists from different backgrounds. I'm here to learn a lot from all of you. And gift again is the theme of our session. So let's stick to that. And if you ask me about the transformation, so let me start with a mantra that I've always believed in. Like, leadership is not about being in charge, right? It's about taking care of those in your charge, right? So that's been my mantra, and this, I think, this is a belief that quietly shaped my entire career long before I even knew what agile or safe meant. So the journey of this transformation leadership did not happen in one night. It took a lot of time, a gradual growth. I would say my deliberate curiosity, cross domain exposure, and the most important part was like stepping into the unknowns again and again and again. Right. So if I just give you a brief of my career, I started my career with a company called 𝗕𝗿𝗿𝗀. After graduating from Symbiosis Pune University in 2003, I joined 𝗕𝗿𝗿𝗀, which was supposed to be the number one shipping company at that point. I worked in their R&D department as the Q analyst, and I think that was my first exposure, like everybody else, to how the discipline works, what system is, and what the science behind every process, what we are going to gain out of any process, why we need processes, right? And then I moved into my next company was 𝗕𝗿𝗿𝗀 Systems. Although startup was not a fancy or common term that point, but it was truly a startup. So it was like kind of a 50 to 100 people employee. And I would say that was a real lesson. That was a real transformation leadership that I moved to. Because when the hierarchy is even very flat, you have to use influence rather than title or power, right? So yeah, so, and 𝗕𝗿𝗿𝗀 also given me opportunity to work in different domains like e-learning, then insurance, then I was also into the device driver testing. They have given me the opportunity to put me in the Microsoft Seattle. We were talking about Microsoft, so that was a life-changing opportunity. And as their on-site engagements, I was there for quite a few months, almost a year. I learned so much from there. And this was, as I said, this was my first real lesson in leading without authority. And I keep telling about it, like earning trust, not demanding it. Demand never works. If you earn it, it will stay with you. Finally came to Kolkata in 2007, joined Lexmark. Again, as a Q analyst and part of a team which was like very dynamic. I was leading that team. But the trajectory literally shifted when we started working on the first agile pilot of Lexmark in 2010, long back, right? 16 years back. And in fact, we were the first group of people. We showcased the power of iterative delivery to all the skeptical stakeholders. Everybody was very happy with the traditional project management, but when they saw the benefit of it, the significance of it, finally Lexmark was ready to adopt agile full-fledgedly for all the R&D projects, at least. So 2011 again, a good milestone year for myself, because I was the first batch of certified Scrum Master and that kind of opened the door of decades of hands-on transformation across different roles in Agile, like Scrum Master, Product Owner, Agile Coach, Mentor, and everything. 2020 again was my, I would say, inflection point. As part of the core team, which was working on bringing in SAFe, which is called Scaled Agile, to Lexmark. And by the way, Mitu said that I'm working in Xerox. So Lexmark has been taken over by Xerox in last year. So that's why I keep repeating Lexmark, and then of course I'll come to Xerox part. So 2020, we were working as a core team to bring into SAFe, into Lexmark. That was a true transformation leadership for all of us. I became the first SAFe program consultant from the AP region, entire AP region for Lexmark. And trust me, it was not just a certification. It was a responsibility given to me to shape up the mindset, to embrace the new culture and this and be successful with this operating model for the entire organization. It was not easy. It's never
Of
easy.
course.
So
As it
coaching
happens,
team, it doesn't happen. It takes a lot of time and patience for mentoring, consulting, and enabling everybody for safe adaptation, right? So as an RT, you never lead with position of power. It's the leading with clarity, alignment, transparency, and I would say empathy. So influencing everything is more important. Authority never works.
Even I believe so. That the most difficult task is to deal with people. I mean, I don't know about others. The most difficult task in management is to deal with people. I mean, so that's the ultimate truth. You might be very good in your work, in your job, in your home work, etc. But if you're not able to deal with people, be it children, be it your husband, be it your workplace, you're gone. So I think you have a very, very difficult job. I mean, RTE as a release trained engineer, my goodness, I'm sure that it's not an easy job. Organizational transformation is never easy. We have seen people rebelling against it like anything, and then it's your job to have them concede to that. Yes.
And me too, just to end of this, I know I'm taking maybe a little more time, but transformation leadership, they will never accept or expect that you'll create supporters. They will create leaders, more and more leaders. The more leaders you can create, more successful you'll be. That's what I believe.
That's true.
Truly.
Yes. So that was round 1 with 4 beautiful panelists of ours. We'll soon move into the round 2.
Mona Lisa is still there. Yeah.
Mona Lisa?
Yeah, hi.
Oh, hi. Sorry, I missed you. Yeah, Mona Lisa. So, Mona Lisa, you have spent 2 decades at the intersection of business and technology. You work with the CXOs on digital transformation, sustainability, and now GenAI. But looking back at your journey, what pivotal experiences shaped your evolution from a technology professional to a strategic advisor influencing enterprise-level decisions?
Thank you, Mitu. And first of all, many thanks for having me here. And I'm really honored to be part of these esteemed panels. Congratulations to everybody over here who have actually traversed a lot. And I would be very happy if this session inspires even one young woman to make a career-changing decision or to stick to their journey. That would be, that would be a real success for all of us, I think. Looking at my journey, the one thing that I would say is I never stuck to one thing. I never, probably there was something in me that I could never be stagnated in one place. I would say that the journey and the destiny is always shaped by you and nobody else. So if you are doing something, enjoy that. Never crib about what you are doing. Never be in the comfort zone. If that is, even if it's a comfort zone, if you're not happy with it, move. Make that move and take that initiative, take up a new challenge. That's what I have been, Mitu. I had joined like a help desk engineer in TCS, Tata Consultancy Services. Within 3 years, I realized that this is not something that will help me grow. I changed into consulting. So, and then the consulting journey shaped up a lot of support I had from my mentors, from my managers. And every time I was stagnated, I took that challenge. Like I fought. I didn't want to burn bridges, but I fought my way out, moved into new things. I took up digital strategy, cloud consulting, moved into large deals. So I have always changed my avatars. And people ask me that how could you be in the same company for so many years, almost 23 years in TCS? But I say that I've changed jobs within the company and it has given me that opportunity. So the journey has been very exciting that way.
Yeah. So I remember another saying that mother does not give the milk unless the child is crying, right? So
Absolutely.
it's absolutely truth. So if you do not struggle for yourself, if you do not fight for yourself, no matter how much potential you have got, nobody is going to give the platter in your hand. So you have to just fight for it. So all the beautiful women out here, if you feel that you have the potential, you have the capability, so go for it. Go and fight for it because nobody is going to give it to you. So that's the thing. Okay, thank you so much, Mona Lisa.
Thank you.
And to all the beautiful ladies out here, as Doladi has mentioned in the chat, please coin in the name of your close relative or the special person, any woman who has influenced you deeply in your careers, so that at the end of the session, we can give them a token of gratitude. So that would be very special for them. Request to you all. So, with that, we'll start the round two. And round two starts with Polumi. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So, Professor, having served as the head of the department for several years and playing a key role in initiatives like NBA accreditation, academic quality improvements, so you have seen both the academic and administrative sides of higher education. So it was not only academic, but administration had to be also managed. So, what were some of the key challenges you faced in driving excellence in academic institutions, and how did you overcome them?
Thank you, Neetu, for that question. It's a question that's very close to my heart. Uh, on the note that you concluded your last session with, nothing comes served on a platter. When I joined the institution way back in 2007, well, I didn't join as the head of the department. I had to earn it for myself. But well, I had really supportive seniors and people whom I look up to, and the senior management in the Techno India group who have actually held my hands and given me the ownership to perform and helped me realize that maybe academic leadership is the role for me. But academics and higher education is not just about the academic administration. It's about inclusive administration, where you have to listen, you have to learn, you have to grow along with all your peers, your juniors and seniors. And well, that wasn't a really easy task. And yes, aligning with the theme of today's panel discussion, you need to break stereotypes. Yes, we do admit that it's a male-dominated society, and the academic ecosystem functions a little differently than what the other ecosystems would have done. But yes, NBA, that's the National Board of Accreditation, that's a quality assurance. Being able to help my juniors and my peers understand that quality is not a one-time process, it's a continuous process. So you have to go on doing things repeatedly for the overall growth of the institution and the department. And yes, there have been challenges where you had to motivate people to come out of their comfort zones. But as I said, charity begins at home. So you have to practice what you preach. The challenges that I had faced were one too many, but then I have had very supportive colleagues, and of course the mindset that there would be fairness in my decision making. That was one of the biggest ways that I could overcome the challenge. And yes, as an HOD, I had to align myself with the national education policy and try and implement the initiatives that the government, Indian government, is trying to incorporate into higher education, into the department, for a holistic overall growth. Because a lot of our graduates go both into the academia to pursue research and also in the industry. And in alignment with the outcome-based education, what NBA is all about, you don't really measure your graduate on what the grades he's attained. It's basically what he or she does once he graduates, 3 to 4 years beyond his graduation. So now when people come back and say that I'm leading on a leading role, I'm the VP of so-and-so company, I'm leading the research team out there, and I have one of my graduates in the Chandrayaan-3. Okay, so we have graduates placed all across the industries as well as higher education. So as an HOD, I think I've been able to serve my role, but then since academics is about, there's an academic part as well as an administrative part, there has to be a good enough balance between both. And yes, being able to break stereotypes, because sometimes technology is really challenging, and this is not a gender specific roles. Women are no longer expected to run the home and wash utensils and clean garments, but then they're expected to contribute much more. So being able to break stereotypes and not being intimidated, and being very confident of your skills, and being able to control and organize, and being fair enough in your decisions. Yes, that's helped me be able to administer my department for several years, and
Yeah,
that
so
was very enriching. Thank you.
it took 2 decades. It took 2 decades. So that time has to be given, that patience has to be there, and that
So it took me a
absorption.
decade. It took me a decade to be promoted to the head of the department. Yes, that you need
Yeah.
that time. You need that time for self growth, to learn
Yes.
and to be able to understand.
And
Thank you.
it's just not that falling down. You have to rise up from falling down. So that
Yes,
resilience also should be there. So
that
once
resilience
you
will be there.
fall down, if
Absolutely.
you get frustrated, that will
And
not
you
do.
get back. You
You
have to
have to
bounce back.
rise up once again. You
You
have
have
to
to
bounce back.
bounce back. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank you
Neetu.
so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
And Shaturupa? So, driving business agility across cross geography teams and complex enterprise environments often comes with cultural, organizational, and operational challenges that we touched upon a bit in the earlier question as well. So, what have been some of the toughest transformational challenges that you have faced while implementing this agile at scale? And how did you help teams and leadership embrace the change?
Okay. So yeah, of course, when you try and transform the mindset, there will be challenges. We cannot deny that. And if I have to pick the top 3 challenges, the first classical questions every time I've been asked, no matter who it is, why you have to fix this? Why we need this change? Nothing is broken. Everything is working perfectly all right. Why you need that change? Everybody's so worried about it. There's so much of resistance. No, we don't want to do it. This is kind of going to be an overweight for us, and so on so forth. So many things. They always resist change. Everybody resists change because they find it they find it discomfort, right? They are out of their comfort zone, and have to do something which they have not been practicing over the years. So in such cases, I think what I have done and focused on doing is explaining the why again and again, not just what you have to do, but why you have to do it, showcasing some of the early wins. You have some of the data points available with you, showcase to them, and then that can help you to convert the skeptics into supporters. And importantly, safe space, create a safe space where every team members, leaders, anybody can ask any kind of uncomfortable questions without the fear of feeling judged, right? So these 3 are key things which we all need to practice when there is a huge resistance of change. When people understand the purpose behind the change, they feel little comfortable, they feel a little less threatened by it, right? The second challenge that I've always faced is the legacy power structure. Especially when you try and implement scaled agile into the system, we call it a dual operating system, because the legacy reporting structure will remain the same, but the safe will work in a different flow altogether. And of course, people feel like they will lose their significance. The managers will feel that, what I'm going to do in this? I mean, safe, you're going to run safe in a different way altogether. What will be my role? Am I going to lose my importance, my significance? No. So as a coach, as an RT, we'll have to constantly telling them, coaching them that it's not the case. It's just you have to shift your mindset from controlling to the growth mindset, leading with examples, bring more clarity, empower people are the things that you have to concentrate. And here, one of the tricks that I've always used to build relationship with those leaders, because I've seen in the transformation, especially in the transformation work, relationships move mountains that process can never do, right? It does happen. So it does work. And third, last but not the least, that a lot of times I've seen that leaders don't want to change themselves. I will be like the way I am, but I want output. That never happens, right? You have to coach the leaders constantly. Again, what is lean agile leadership means, and what is it, I hope all of you have read that book, Atomic Habits, like small habits that can help you in getting big outcomes. You can never imagine what sort of success the team will gain with changing small and incrementally, right? So safe is not a process, it's a mindset enabler. So leaders have to understand that, and for accelerating this, they cannot just sit in the balcony and say, okay, do this, do that. They have to come walk the talk. So this is what I felt, the different challenges. And it's not about, again, it's not about changing the process, it's changing the perspectives. It's even more difficult. We have to work on that.
So there are 3 levels that you mentioned. One is the ground level people, those who will be subjected to the change. One is the system as a whole. The system is legacy, and the other one is leadership. The people who have who are not flexible to the change. Yes. So that's always very true. Okay. Thanks so much, 𝗕𝗂𝗶. So Mona Lisa. So, Mona Lisa, your work spans emerging technologies, ESG transformation, and complex multi vendor environments. So, innovation at the scale often comes with organizational resistance and operational challenges. So, what have been some of the toughest innovation or transformation challenges that you have faced, and how did you navigate them while keeping the stakeholders aligned?
Thank you, Mitu. It's a very interesting question. And one of the things that I would say has been a constant factor in my journey in consulting is that consulting is fraught with challenges, right? So typically, this is not consulting are short-term engagements where we get engaged with clients for, say, 3 to 4 months at the max, and you have to show value in those 3 to 4 months. And so every meeting, every interaction, every stakeholder interaction becomes very, very important. And we need to navigate our way through complex because it's a new customer. We have to get to know, what are their priorities, and they have their own dynamics. So it is not at all easy. But I think what I've learned in my course of consulting is how to do stakeholder management. I think we have heard from other panelists also that managing people and managing stakeholders is so important. So stakeholder management is a skill that I had to develop over time, and understanding each and every time, what is the other person's priority? What is it that the client is looking for? You may be coming with the world's best practices, but if that is not what client needs, you just cannot make them, you just can't entrust them with that. So it is always a very creative field where you have to constantly understand and gauge what the client's needs are, and constantly keep upgrading your skills. That is because in today's world, technology is changing so fast that you have to keep updating yourself. You need to keep learning new things. So one of the big challenges that I had to overcome was, when generative AI, data, these things were coming up. And a lot of people in technology field like me, they were facing this problem, right? So we had to keep up with that pace. One of the blessings that I had in TCS was that it sponsored me for MTech in data science, specialization in data sciences. I did that in 2018. And with a lot of challenge with family work, but somehow a lot of push from my husband as well at that point of time. After I did that, I became very, very confident about, this new challenge, these new changes in technology that are coming up. And I could actually advise my customers about these emerging technologies like Gen AI. And then I completely changed my field. I would not say that I had always one feet in technology and the other field in domain. So I moved into sustainability and ESG because that has given me a purpose of my work. And as this theme of this today's theme is give to gain. So sustainability is one area that I feel that I'm giving back to the planet, because I'm helping my customers become more sustainable, take more sustainable decisions, and help the environment, the social society, and also the company that way. So I think constantly maneuvering through these new changes by upgrading myself and by also understanding what the client's priorities are, being creative. And I think those are the things that help me to maneuver through the challenges.
Yeah, very true. So we might face many challenges, many hazards and everything, but if we feel don't confident enough, then I would say knowledge is power. As you have done your tech in data science in the mid of your career, I mean, a big kudos to you. It's not an easy journey. I know that very well. Studying in between your work is not an easy journey. But what gave you the motivation is that learning, that I have
Yep.
to learn. I mean, there is no stopping to that. Knowledge is power, and knowledge is something that makes you powerful, and if you can embank on that at any point of time, whenever you feel low, whenever you feel less confident, there is no substitute to that. And if somebody is not more powerful than you because of the physique or because of the work that is done, but just because of the brain, because of the knowledge that the person has got, that's the actual power, uh, which matters the most. Well, thank you so much for the round two. We'll have another round of the
We are
questions.
having Payal.
Okay, I don't know why I miss one person every round. Hi, Payal.
Hi, hi.
Yeah. So, Payal, journalism. You come from a very unique background. Journalism is a very demanding profession, as you have said, with constant deadlines and evolving media landscapes. And at the same time, you have continued writing books on top of your high demanding job, translating literature and exploring music and culture. So, what challenges did you face in balancing professional journalism with your creative passions, and what kept you motivated in your career path?
Thanks for the question. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe yes. Yeah. Thanks for the question. Again, it comes to my family. I was born and brought up into a joint family where I've seen my uncles and aunts, my grandmother, grandfather, who used to do many things one at a time. So I quite learned from them that how to do the balance in your work life and your personal life. And also I was quite prepared when I joined journalism, because I knew that it's very demanding, and I had an idea that what I have to do and what I have not to do. So and that was the challenge, that was the thrill for me to join this profession. Anyway, I'm just sharing one of my experience with you. Apart from the writing and all, that's a very common place. Many people do the writing and pursue their creative career with all their personal career and professional thing, and also professional, balancing the personal and professional life. So I got a unique experience in my journalism field. So I'm just sharing for the moment. You all know that journalists often have to take many risks in their work life. One of the most challenging situation arises when you do the political stories, where you have to consider many factors and responsibilities at the same time. In such moments, you need the support and security system from your office, from your family and friends. So my family and friends always provided me that, and also my office. That's the great inspiration. And I'm just sharing the toughest assignment so far I got. So I had an assignment of getting an interview of Sharmila Chanu. You all know the person who did the hunger strike for 16 long years in Manipur. And the here comes the irony of the society, and see, for doing 16 years of hunger strike, she got ill, she got sick, she had the life threat for her own society. But when she decided not to do this and stand for the election and getting married, the society did not support her. She was again in a life threat, because society didn't allow her to stand in election. So when I got the chance to do an interview with her, she was in a secret place for her for these risk factors. So finding her, getting her in the farthest corner of Imphal with some local journalists, and getting the story done, that was a great challenge for me at the time, because we the journalists also who wanted to meet her was in a life threat. And also, I at that time I got to see and observe the situation of Manipur at the northeast area. uh, the how the girls survive there. They are so confident, and they are not financially very enriched, and but their mindset is such an independent mindset, and they are very confident. The journalists there, they didn't have a proper structure for their media, their job, and they didn't have a proper toilet for their own. Just forget about the ladies and gents. They didn't have a single toilet for the media house. They didn't have a proper structure, but they did their job continuously. That's the experience for me. That's the experience for me.
Yeah. So, as a journalist, I can understand that you might not be sleeping in a cozy home, you might not be having the proper food or at the proper time. And as you say, toilets, yeah, that also might be a constraint. But still, you
Yeah.
have to do your job, and it can be a stress at certain point of time. So, for all of us, we might be having this stress at the workplace. And as Payal is doing, I mean, all of us should have a hobby. We should all have something as a pastime for our own. We should all have our own world which is not defined by the workplace, because workplace stress will be there, and there is no way we can escape from that. But we should have our own little space which comforts us, which de-stresses us. That is very important in order to mitigate these challenges. Thanks so much, Pal, for those insights. Yeah. So that was round two. Let us quickly cover the round three. We have 10 more minutes. If any questions, we'll take up at the end of the session. And as mentioned earlier, if you have anybody very special in your life, any relative, anyone, any woman in your life who has inspired you in your career or anything, please write down in the chat. We'll give them a token of gratitude at the end of the session, and also over in LinkedIn. So, round three, we'll start with Shatarupa once again, and we'll make this real quick. Shatarupa, you have trained hundreds of professionals and mentored teams across different regions and industries. What advice would you give to the young women entering technology and leadership roles today? And from your experience as an agile coach, working with global teams, what does true diversity mean in creating high performing and inclusive organizations?
Well, me too. That's a great question, and I would say it's a multi-layered question. I would try to cover it within time. I know we are running out of time a little. So, if you talk about the my advice, I can share my mantras. I can share the things that I've learned from my mentors and have been practicing it. First of all, we all need to carry our own, what I call a toolbox, right? And there are certain tools you have to have. Absolutely. One, integrity, non-negotiable. You have to be honest. You have to have continuously display your integrity, your trustworthiness, and that will actually make you the true leader, right? And people will, when people will start trusting your ability, the leadership, your job is done, right?
Right.
And what do you mean by integrity? It's very small things, like you keep up your commitments even if no one is watching. You be honest when no one is watching. You take feedback, give feedback honestly, and all these pieces, right? It's very very generic thing. It's not something rocket science, right? So
Right.
people, again, if people trust your character, they will trust your leadership. That's first. Second mantra is never chase a position. Position does not give you power. Leaders create their own titles, and I've seen in many young professionals, we have been hiring, right, continuously, the fresh out of college. They're like, when I'm going to get promoted, when I go to the next level. It's not going to work that way. I mean, the real differentiator would be is how deeply you're growing, and then opportunity will automatically come to you. So I can think of one example there. All of us, all Indians, we have seen Bahubali, right? So if you remember the first part of Bahubali, that movie, when there was a throne ceremony, and Bahubali never became the king. But evidently, if you remember the scene, he was much more powerful. His voice was much more influential than the king, right? So, yeah, I mean, if you can influence people, your voices will be heard, no matter what your position is, what your title is. So don't change the position. Third, and I think me too and everybody else also mentioned it, work-life balance, very, very important. You have to save your energy. You have to recharge yourself. You have to fuel yourself. It's about fully present where you are, at work, at home, or with yourself. It's not a luxury. It's a requirement. Please remember that. And again, I would like to cite one example here. As women, I'm sorry, I'm a little gender biased. As women, we are more engaged into different things like office. The office commitments are there. At home, you have your parents, you have your parents-in-laws, you have your children, you have your spouse. Everybody is emotionally dependent on you, and they have one or the other thing, one or the other request from you. And it is very natural that you feel overwhelmed at some times. So I was, one point of time I was also feeling very overwhelmed. I'm good, maybe I'm not doing justice to my family, and no, they are not getting enough time for me. So I was watching a video. Indra Nooyi, if all of you may be aware of her, she was a former CEO of PepsiCo. And that point of time when she is given this interview, she was the most powerful women leader, almost one of the most powerful women leader of the world, right? So she said that, amongst a busy day when she was doing all these tough meetings, her mother called and she never picked up the phone. And when she came back home, mother was like, "Why you didn't pick up the phone?" And it's like, "What is urgency? You never told me this is urgent." So, no, it is urgent because the family is running out of milk. Go and get milk. So, so she said, no matter which tiara you're wearing at your workplace, you have to put it down when you come back home. Be a mother, be a daughter, be a wife, and then spend quality time with them. So it's very
Exactly.
important. You
Yeah.
have to have this work-life balance. That's about the
Exactly.
toolkit. And mindset, very important. Number one, mindset. With this continuously changing world, you have to have that learner's mindset. I mean, we probably will not look for people who come and prove themselves, but we will probably look for those kind of people who can learn, unlearn, and relearn.
Yeah.
You have to do it continuously, even if you're doing it right now, right? All these people, like people who have been having more than 20 years of experience, we keep doing it, learning, unlearning, relearning, right? So curiosity is
Exactly.
something which is going to give you the advantage. And as I said that, the smartest people will not be the ones who will give you the answers. The smartest people will be the one who will ask the right questions.
Yeah.
Eventually, in the age of AI, right? So you have
Yeah.
to ask the right questions, and then adaptability. You are not going to be perfect overnight, but your keenness, your your tendency of learning from your mistakes and do little incremental progress is going to make all the difference.
Thanks so
So
much. Yeah. Sure, Turpa, maybe we should move to the next speaker now. Mona Lisa. So you have successfully navigated leadership roles in technology while also empathizing holistic growth and mentorship. What message would you give to the young women here aspiring to build careers in technology and consulting? And from your experience, what does true diversity mean in modern organizations beyond just representation?
Great question. Diversity is a very often discussed topic now. I would say to all the young women aspirants who want to be successful in their career, do not think of yourself as a man or a woman. When you go into a meeting, when you are into, even if there's a room full of men, just focus on adding value. Your skill and your knowledge will make you create all the difference. So that's a very important message. Don't think yourself as a man or a woman, just add value. Second thing I would say is, do not try to be a superwoman. Doesn't work. You will be burnt out. And if you have take too many responsibilities just on yourself across the board, you are going to, I would not say fail, but you are going to be, very stressed and a very unhappy person. So I would say build an ecosystem, build a support ecosystem, ask for help. Your husband, your spouse, or your even your in-laws, everybody will be ready to help if you ask for it. Even if your neighbors, this entire support ecosystem is very, very important to raise a family and have a holistic life. Third is, as I said, holistic, investing in your holistic growth. right? So you are, first of all, a human being, and take care of your physical health, mental health, emotional health, your spiritual part of it. For me, myself, I take breaks a few days of the year and completely escape from all of my, family, work, everything. I just rewind, reconnect. If you're curious, where I go to Isha Yoga Center in Coimbatore, and I just get a lot of oxygen by doing this.
Yeah.
I completely try to disconnect from everything around me. And that gives me back a lot of my energy, and I get and I rewind myself. So find out what that space is for you. It could be music, it could be travel, it could be reading. Find that space for you where you can connect to your inner self and think about your holistic growth. So this is for both men and women. I think first of all, we are human beings. I always used to take a lot of pride by calling myself a feminist when I was in college, but now I call myself a humanist. That's the message that I would like to give to all young women out there.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Payal. So, Payal, as someone who works at the intersection of media, literature, culture, what advice you would give to the young women who want to build a voice through journalism or writing? And from your perspective, what does true diversity mean in India, both in the newsroom and the stories we choose to tell?
Actually, first of all, I would say that you have to have some kind of passion. If you join journalism, if you select it as your profession, so you have to be prepared for many things. You won't get the proper field, proper structure, and proper structure for your story, doing your stories, and to frame your work every time. But it continuous has a deadline pressure, and always you have to mix with the people, many kind of people you don't even know. You cannot assess their characteristics, and their background check is not possible. It's you have to be prepared for all these unpredictability of your life. So from my perspective, I could say that journalism offers a unique opportunity to engage the diversity of society and to reflect the changes taking place within it. So you have to be very acceptable for all and adaptable for all these changes. You cannot be a very judgmental one to assess this society when you do your job. As a journalist, I always try to participate in every sphere where I can contribute meaningfully as a human being, not as a journalist, not as a professional. But I believe the journalist must remain honest and very responsible in their work, what they do. They should stand for the inclusion and the active. They should actively support the gender discourse of today's society that shapes the contemporary world. So today many people has this debate that whether we should celebrate women's day or not, but I feel in a country like India and a society we belong to, where many girls still face distress, and when they are treated like very disrespectfully. I believe it is very important to raise our voice for them and continue the conversation of equality and dignity for women.
Very different insight. Thanks, Payal.
Thank you.
And Polomi, so as a mentor and educator for thousands of students over the years, what advice would you give to the young women considering careers in computer science and technology? And from your perspective, what does true diversity mean in classrooms, research communities, and future workplaces?
Okay, that's a very interesting question, Meetu, and thank you for that. For women who are getting into STEM, that's science, technology, engineering, and management, my advice to these young minds would be explore yourself, claim your space, do not let anything stop you. As I've already mentioned in round two, certain situations might be very intimidating. Okay, you get into a room full of males, and they want their voices to be heard. Just be yourself. Don't try to prove a point. Your point will ultimately be proved. So to my young students right now who are almost like my kids, my advice to them would be learn, keep on learning, because learning is a journey, it's never a destination. Do not stop. And since we have people from, I mean, students from various cultures, various backgrounds and outstations, we as educators need to be very, very inclusive. And in computer science, with a paradigm shift in technology, with the advent of AI and machine learning and ChatGPT, well, my advice to these young minds would be to consider them as your learning assistants. Do not directly copy and paste stuff, because this will not help you to think and learn and be able to elevate yourself. Because at the end of the day, you need to deliver, and deliver in many ways, which it's changing with the ever changing landscape. So my advice to these young minds basically would be to claim your space, don't get intimidated, keep on learning. And I think we as educators also need to adapt to the paradigm shift in technology that's been in place. So that's all that I would like to say for this.
Thanks so much, Professor Datta. So it's now the question and answers session. We have completed our 3 rounds. Big round of applause for our dear panelists who have been so special in this session. Thank you so much. And I can see that a couple of questions are there in the chat. 𝗕𝗵𝗴𝗶 asked, as a male colleague who wants to contribute positively, what are some meaningful ways men can give in terms of support, mentorship, or institutional change to help create a more equitable environment? Anyone who wants to take that up?
I think men have a very important role to play. And if you just hear out your female colleagues, give them that space, because they have some unique challenges in their life, especially in certain points of their life. Like, for example, when they're having a child, or when they're reaching a certain stage, like even menopausal stages. Men are not aware of those challenges. They think that just after 3 months of having the child, they can come back and bounce back. But the responsibility, the person even changes completely, right? So if you give them that space, hear them out, they can never let you down. So I think that kind of camaraderie is very important. And do not think of them as impediments, because society also has a lot of expectations from them. So give them that space, and you see that women can bring so much of value to your team. And do not expect that women are going to be just like men. They also bring some unique perspectives, like empathy, collaboration, and others. I think women also should not try to be like a man and bring that toxic masculinity. I'm sorry to use that term, but let's not. I think masculinity and femininity are two different things that even men and women all can bring. Both of them can bring. So complementing each other, hearing each other out, giving that space is going to be very important.
Very, very rightly said. And there is another question from 𝗕𝗵𝗴𝗶 himself. What advice would you give to young girls and early career women about giving to the community while also building their own careers? If anyone wants to take up that question.
Yeah, I can chime in. So the thing is that the theme is give to gain, right? The more you give, the more you're going to gain. No matter, I mean, it's not about any materialistic giving. It could be distributing your knowledge, sharing your knowledge, whatever you have learned. So young girls, a lot of time I've seen that they feel a little shaky, and not only girls, but I think both girls and boys, they feel a little shaky. They feel like if I go and speak up my mind, I may not create that kind of impact. But just take that away from your mind and do whatever you can in the, like if I say giving to the community, you can be involved in the CSR activities. You can be involved into different camps that we not only in the office but only out of office, there could be different camps. So the more we give, the more you're going to gain emotionally, and that is going to help you throughout your life. And nothing can give you more satisfaction when you see that one person, you made a change in the life of one person even, so
True.
that's going to be very, very beneficial.
Yeah. So with that, I think we cannot take any more questions. But if you have questions, please do post us over LinkedIn. You can reach out to any of us over LinkedIn. So you're most welcome to do that. And I think it's 9 minutes over time, and we have to wrap up the session with this the beautiful word doc that has been prepared. As you mentioned, the name of the people who has inspired you the most in your lives. So if you want, let's take a screenshot and let's post it in our LinkedIn's as an ode to all the great women who has influenced our lives, our careers, etc. So with that, I end the session. Thank you all. It was
Thank
very
you so much.
good to you all to hear
Thank you
you
so
all.